Now at 7, a shooting last night in Wood Village sends one person to the hospital. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz with the latest on their condition and what led up to the shooting in a live report. Plus,
security footage is showing the moments crooks used a stolen car to crash through the front of a vape shop in Milwaukee. And
this is what we did. We went out 4 times a week. And I used to play 18 holes, but I cut down to 9 now. I have been playing golf for 50 years. I just love golf.
well, this story is once again proof that you are never too old to have fun. The surprise this 100-year-old golfer received for her birthday as we kick off the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now.
good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We're definitely looking forward to that 100-year-old story. But before we get to that, we've got Chris on traffic and Rod Hill with your forecast.
You guys are still working. I want you to promise that for my 100th birthday, if I'm playing golf, you'll get the cameras out and you put me on Sunrise. Now you promise.
Promise.
Thank you. All right, here's a look. I'm looking forward to that story. Here's some rain over Roseburg this morning, and then kind of nipping, but just south of Eugene. Thunderstorms. Well, now we've got some new strikes out south of Pendleton in eastern Oregon. So you can tell the rain chances are pretty widespread across our two states. The only shower in the valley this morning is this one, currently moving away off to the west of Philomath. The view is pretty with the mostly cloudy skies and some thin spots from the Vancouver live camera. This is the springs at the waterfront. And you can see Mount Hood just sticking up right there. So this will be a mostly cloudy day with a shower threat. It just doesn't look like we're going to see much. So for Portland and Vancouver, dry most of the time, if you will. 64 is the number out the door. To the bus stop we go. The shower chances are there, so you may or may not want a rain jacket. 69 at noon, and then 75 degrees later today when the kids get out of school. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's take it back up to Clark County. The slowest 2.5 miles of freeway in town right now is the drive from SR 500 down to the Interstate Bridge. All 3 lanes slow and go there, and not that that's a big surprise. Right now we're averaging about 16 minutes to get you in from Main Street south to I-405. Over on the east side, Interstate 84, westbound traffic, a little slow and go there from 82nd Avenue. And we're definitely slow and go from Sylvan on Highway 26 coming down the hill from there into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. At last check, you're tripping from Hillsborough, averaging about 20 minutes or so from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. Drew, China?
All right, thank you, Chris. Let's get back to the developing story we've been covering all morning here. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting in Wood Village.
It happened just after 10 o'clock last night. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from Northeast Halsey and 238th. So, Thomas, what do we know here?
Well, guys, Multnomah County deputies tell us that a 25-year-old man was shot in the chest and taken to the hospital. Right now, it's unclear how he's doing. Another man, they say, was taken into custody, and throughout the night, deputies were on the lookout for even more possible suspects. This all started around 10:15 when deputies say someone tried to rob the Byway Market last night. That's when a worker at the store was shot.
That victim was taken to the hospital with a life-threatening gunshot wound. My understanding is they're in surgery at this moment.
Now, both Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and Gresham Police responded to the shooting. Officers flew drones during the investigation and searched on the ground for other possible suspects. While that investigation was ongoing overnight, Northeast Halsey around 238th here in Wood Village was closed. That road has now reopened. The Sheriff's Office also says they expect to provide more information about this investigation later this morning. Drew, China.
Thomas, thank you. Your time now is 7:04. This is security video showing the moment thieves crashed a stolen Kia right through the front doors of this House of Pipes vape shop in Milwaukee on Sunday. As it turns out, this is the 4th time that a car has crashed through the front of one of their shops. Just last October, thieves hit 2 separate locations in one night, one in Happy Valley, the other in Gresham. Richard Burke, the executive director of the 21 Plus Tobacco and Vapor Retail Association of Oregon, says that he doesn't think law enforcement is doing enough to prevent this.
It's a situation where people are seeing weakness in law enforcement and they're taking advantage of it. We need that protection from our city governments. And if they don't do their job, somebody might, and that might be President Trump.
House of Pipe says that they'd be grateful if anyone with information on any of these cases would report what they know.
All right, next up here, an update on the Southeast Portland couple whose car crashed into their home after it was hit by a truck that ran off the road. So this happened just before midnight on Sunday over near the intersection of Southeast 52nd and Raymond. Police say the driver of a Dodge pickup lost control, jumped a curb, hit 3 cars in that neighborhood, sending one of them into the basement of this couple's home.
Oh, we're just doing normal stuff, watching television, halfway falling asleep, and then all of a sudden we hear this horrible noise. I mean, oh God, it was ear deafening. It was like, oh my God, what the hell was that?
The couple told us repairs to their home are expected to take months. Meanwhile, the 46-year-old man behind the wheel of the truck is suspected of driving drunk. He was taken to the hospital with serious injuries.
Officers have arrested a man that they say is connected to a crime spree in Portland. 49-year-old Justin Christensen is accused of robbing a number of coffee shops, gas stations, and fast food places over the last 2.5 months in Southeast Portland. Police say they also found what looked like an explosive device in his car, but investigators say it turned out to be fake. Meantime, Multnomah County Sheriff's Office and the FBI seized more than $30,000 in illegal drugs. Investigators say 34-year-old Ricardo Olivias Centello was arrested after a suspected drug deal in Northeast Portland last Wednesday. A search of his car and hotel room turned up 9 pounds of meth, 1 kilo of fentanyl, and $40,000 in cash. The case is now in the hands of the U.S. Attorney's Office.
A new KGW investigation reveals hundreds of thefts each year at storage units all around Portland, with victims reporting millions of dollars in losses. Storage facilities, we found out, can be easy targets for thieves because they're often quiet, with infrequent visitors, and lack sufficient security. The 2 men in this video wiped out a single mom's entire unit in less than 20 minutes by drilling through a lock and loading everything onto a flatbed truck. Police did arrest one of those thieves, but the numbers show that arrests are rare. Here's more from 2 other local victims.
And there have been 4 break-ins to things in 1 year, and we have been 2 of them on 2 separate units on separate floors. What's the odds of that?
Coming up tonight on KGW News at 6, investigative reporter Evan Watson breaks down just how rampant storage unit thefts have become, including details about one local facility that's been hit 114 times in less than 3 years. Meanwhile, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek signed a new earthquake-related executive order. So this order calls for all new state buildings to meet seismic safety standards, and it also calls for improvements to existing buildings that are considered crucial to protect people from large office structures to buildings that support first responders.
Your time now is 7:07. Let's get to Rod Hill for a look at the weather. I see a lot of green behind you.
Yeah, good morning. This is one of those days where you're going to see little raindrops on your apps, shower threats, even a thunderstorm threat. But for Portland and Vancouver, I still think we're going to see lots of dry time today. And maybe where you are, you see a shower, and maybe you don't. Now, the radar, see Eugene down to Roseburg and then farther south to Medford. This area could see fairly consistent rainfall. Everything else on the map, you see some lightning south of Pendleton. Scattered storms expected today in central Oregon, eastern Oregon, and then moving south to north later today along the Cascades. We are seeing some light rain now detected on radar outside of Tigard, Tualatin, Wilsonville. This is probably borderline sprinkle activity coming out of a mostly cloudy deck of clouds this morning. And here's the view from the Chehalem tasting room. Interesting morning in terms of the layering of the clouds. And there are some breaks, so at times you get a little brightness with the sun now up in the eastern sky. 61 degrees out there in Sherwood. The weather map today, again, scattered storms, Cascades, central, eastern areas. Rainy weather, Eugene, south to Medford. Chance of showers in Salem is so-so. Chance of rain in Portland, again, maybe you see something in your house, maybe you don't. And again, at the coast, a better chance of rain will be the farther south you drop along the beaches. Here's our 7-day. So at one time, it really looked like we would get some widespread rainfall at times yesterday. Didn't happen. That we would today. I don't think it's going to happen. Then we have a mainly dry forecast tomorrow, all dry Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Our next rain chance is Sunday, but all of a sudden, some models are even taking that rain chance away. So mainly dry is the word for the 7-day overall, with temperatures primarily in the 70s. Pretty seasonal for this time of the year. Here's Chris.
And a little sticky, too. All right, let's get you up to the mountains. Just getting word of a possible crash on Highway 26 up near Government Camp. Westbound right now. You do see a little bit of local slowing getting around that. I'll keep you posted. For now, the road remains open. In the Gorge, heads up on SR 14 east of White Salmon. washed out doing some hazardous tree removal. Remember the Burdoin fire earlier this summer burnt scorched acres here, and now Washtenaut's having to do some tree removal between Lyle and Bingit. So they're going to be flagging folks through that work zone. It's about a 5-mile stretch of SR 14 that'll be impacted by that today in Skamania County. Back to Clark County, there's the I-5 drive, slow and steady down towards the Interstate Bridge. At last check, that's our slowest Portland-Vancouver area freeway. Right now, it's taking folks about 17 minutes to get in from Main Street south to the Fremont Bridge.
Thank you, Chris.
I have been playing golf for 50 years. I just love golf.
Still to come on Sunrise, 100 years old and still playing golf. How this golfer was surprised on her 100th birthday. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in just 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I think you're going to like this next story coming up here on Sunrise. Every week for the past 50 years, Pearl Atwood hops in her cart, heads to the course, and plays a round of golf.
And for her 100th birthday, her fellow lady golfers wanted to treat her to a birthday surprise. Take a look.
Always take a practice shot. 1, 2, 3. I have been playing golf for 50 years. I just love golf. My husband, he was a wonderful golfer, and he said, we have to go out when I retired. I said, okay, I'll be brave and I'll learn it. I'm getting there slowly. I had a family, I had 3 children, and they're in heaven, and my husband's also in heaven. This is what we did. We went out 4 times a week, and I used to play 18 holes, but I cut down to 9 now. Every Wednesday, I feel blessed that I can do this. Woohoo! Oh, that felt great. I won 2 trophies down here at this club, and I was very happy, and the ladies were beautiful people. This is Judy, and they just made me feel so good, and I just love being out with them.
I'm blessed.
I feel blessed.
Twin Woods Golf Course is located in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Well, I was a year old when I moved here, and now I'm 91. It was a family farm. My parents bought it in 1935 and opened in 62 as a golf course.
There's a trophy. Now you won't lose that one.
Well, today we have the Ladies League. We have 60 golfers, 60 ladies that show up here every Wednesday morning.
Thank you. I love you all, really.
And we're lucky enough to have Pearl Atwood, and she's a delight. Very gracious, very friendly, and she's my idol.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Happy 100th birthday, Pearl.
We're having a cake, and I've gotten a trophy for her commemorating being 100 years old and still playing 9 holes of golf.
It's overwhelming, and it's a beautiful experience. It really is. Thank you. As long as Jesus will, or God will let me live, I'll play as long as I can.
She's hitting the ball? That's awesome.
Fantastic story. So Hatfield, Pennsylvania is right outside Philadelphia, like neighboring county. Philadelphia, of course, the city of brotherly love, but that story all about the sisterly affection for Pearl Atwood. Very cool story.
So sweet. Oh.
You know, it's amazing. Art Edwards has done stories in the past when the senior tennis tournaments come to town.
Yes.
And he's done stories on, 90-year-olds out there. And, I mean, they're moving.
Yes.
And then, obviously, Pearl's still connecting with the ball. So that's fantastic.
Very cool to see.
Yeah. Let's get you out the door this morning. We have radar showing rain down around Eugene and Roseburg. There's a low down here. So this is absolutely the rain bullseye of your day, if you will, in terms of consistent raindrops falling. Everything else, Cascade, Central and Eastern Oregon, we are expecting more thunderstorms to blow up today. There's a lightning strike south of Pilton. We've had this cluster ongoing up around Yakima. And radar is showing that there, in fact, are at least some sprinkles of traceable amounts of rain down around Wilsonville right now between Tigard and Lake Oswego. And I think, is it still there? Yeah, it's still barely there. It's fading. But that's a rainbow right here. See it? If you look carefully, that's over the West Hills looking from the camera that's atop of the Providence Park Stadium. So that's kind of cool to see some breaks in cloud cover out there. 62 degrees is the temperature. So the bricks, could get wet at times today. Just with those shower days that, if you're outside this much of the day, maybe you don't find any rain at all. But at most, you're still going to have, from this, you're going to have that much dry time. So most of the time you're out working and playing, I think you're going to be in good shape today. But you may choose to have a rain jacket with you in case you find something. 64 from the Pioneer Park building camera downtown Portland. Other temps, 62 Kelso, 62 Salem, Benza 52. Again, central and eastern areas expected scattered thunderstorm activity. And the coast is kind of like the valley. There's a rain threat in that story. There's a much better rain chance by the time you get down to, say, Florence area. Here's the way Futurecast shows it, 7 o'clock this morning. This is obviously way overdoing the shower threat here in the Portland area this morning. But later on, it does show, here's afternoon at 5, the scattered storms moving south to north, Cascades, especially central Oregon. If this is true, you folks in the Dalles would see some early evening storms move through. And here's the numerous showers from near to south of Salem, especially Eugene, and then down into Medford. So the forecast for today. Better chance of staying dry in Astoria, better chance of some showers at times down in Lincoln County. Mostly cloudy. Showers increase to the south. Northwest winds 5 to 15, highs in the 60s. Nobody has much wind again today. Good grief. I want to say we're going on 3 weeks of 90% of the time. There's just not much of a breeze out there. And it will be humid again today. That's been ongoing for at least a couple of weeks, right? Salem in the 73-degree range. Better chance of rain in the valley as you drop to the south, increasingly so. And then up in southwest Washington, a shower threat, but most of the time you're simply going to have dry time. Now, realize there could be some evening storms make their way up toward Mount St. Helens. If that's the case, maybe something bounces off of the Cascade Range. 7-day forecast numbers, mainly dry tomorrow, all dry Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Watching a shower threat on Sunday. Notice really no hot weather in the 70s, but again, a little stickiness out there. Here's Chris.
All right, Rod, thank you for that. I want to get you back up to the mountain. We had an earlier report of a crash on Highway 26. Whatever that was, looks like that has cleared. However, can I get you? Oh, I lost. There we go. It's a little foggy up there right now, heading over the passes. So just be aware of that if that is your commute early this morning. We'll hop back over to the west side. Highway 26, the Sylvan Hills, staring at the sunshine coming up and over the hill from 217 to Skyline Boulevard. So little sunshine slow down there on that side of town. 22 minutes, the trip in from Hillsboro. And there is the slowest stretch of Portland area freeway right now. I-5 southbound up near the Expo Center. We're pretty well slow and go from there back to SR 500 in Clark County. At last check now, almost 20 minutes to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge. True?
Thank you, Chris.
70% of all winemakers in America use natural cork. Why shouldn't it be on the list?
President Trump appears ready to reduce tariffs on some items, and winemakers looking for financial relief hope cork is one of those items. We're going to have more from our local winemaking community when Sunrise continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
A U.S. House committee released what it says is a birthday message that President Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein 22 years ago. The president, meanwhile, says it's fake and denies any connection, while also turning its attention to a crackdown on crime in Chicago. NBC's Alice Barr has more on all of this for us from Washington, D.C.
Divided attention in Washington this morning as President Trump keeps his sights on crime and immigration. A first look at a birthday message he allegedly wrote in 2003 to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is grabbing headlines. It's a drawing of a woman's torso around an imagined conversation that reads in part, quote, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." The White House arguing it's a fake and not the president's signature, echoed by Republican lawmakers.
To me, it's just bogus. The whole thing is bogus right now.
President Trump has denied having anything to do with the letter first reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, prompting him to file a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. The House Oversight Committee released it Monday as part of a trove of subpoenaed Epstein documents.
The president now is walking into his own lie and cover-up.
The president focused instead on his immigration crackdown, with the Department of Homeland Security confirming it's launched a new ICE operation in Chicago, branded Operation Midway Blitz. No sign yet of a threatened National Guard deployment to crack down on crime.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
City and state leaders calling it all unnecessary, though a new Supreme Court ruling may limit their ability to push back. The High Court's conservative majority lifted restrictions on ICE operations in Los Angeles, putting a hold on a lower court ruling that blocked patrols and raids based on broad criteria like speaking Spanish. The White House rejecting critics' allegations of racial profiling, insisting ICE detentions are based on a multitude of factors. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Local winemakers may get some financial relief because the cork used to seal up their bottles appears poised for an exemption, from the Trump administration's 15% tariffs on European Union products. A little wine industry knowledge here. Cork comes from the bark of a tree that grows primarily in Portugal, and almost all the cork used in the U.S. is imported. Winemakers call it an unavailable natural product. President Trump said last week that new tariff reductions are based on U.S. national interest, and it appears that cork will be on a small list of items that will be exempt from the U.S. tariff on European products. Meanwhile, U.S. car companies were hit hard by new tariffs in July. According to the Anderson Economic Group, automakers paid more than $1.4 billion to import cars and car parts from Canada and Mexico. 25% tariffs took effect in April and May. Now, even though companies like GM, Ford, and Tesla build many cars here in the U.S., they still rely heavily on imported parts, paying nearly $300 million this past July alone. Well, this past weekend, performers from 23 different Broadway shows entertained a big crowd in Times Square in New York City to mark the city's 400th anniversary. The performance is part of a year-long tribute to the city put together by Mayor Eric Adams' administration. The event on Sunday was called Founded by Broadway, honoring the past, the present, and the future of New York City's theater district. All right, let's talk about what's coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise. We've got this new video that shows the moments that led up to a stabbing and a beating outside the Central Library in downtown Portland. We'll walk through this video with you coming up. Plus,
it was just a matter of time before something really bad happened.
Talking about a 13-year-old who faces multiple charges after officers seized dozens of weapons from his parents' home, along with evidence that indicated he was planning an attack at a school. Again, more details in this story when Sunrise, streaming live here at 7 o'clock, continues in just a few minutes.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning drive. Sept is hanging up the drive on southbound 217. This is from 99W, but it actually starts slowing back around Shoals Ferry. We had an earlier report of a fender bender there. Not sure that it's there, but the point is that is a bit of a pinch point right now for your morning commute. Over on the west side, staying on the west side, Highway 26 near the Sylvan Hill, a little busy, of course. And right now, that's one of the slower freeways. 26 minutes your drive in on Highway 26 from Hillsborough to downtown. And I-5 out of Clark County, slow and steady over the Interstate Bridge. 22 minutes now get you in from Main Street to the Fremont. Rod?
All right, Chris, thanks for that. We're watching rain chances today, so let's start with our radar imagery. And it's showing some traces of rain in the North Valley. It's showing some rain down near and just south of Highway 20. That's down outside of the Philomath area. The forecast today calls for that shower chance to continue, but really, especially near to north of Salem, mainly dry weather expected. There's the Salem live sky camera, the clouds over Portland as well. Our high today, 75.
.30 half hour of the Sunrise Show on this Tuesday morning. One of our favorite local sky cam shots, the one set up there along the Vancouver waterfront, showing off the Interstate Bridge. Lots of viewers watching us, I know, in Clark County. What do we say to those Clark County viewers, China?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. My dog might be watching.
Oh,
say hi to Maximus.
Hi, Maximus.
Hi.
We love you.
That's a good boy.
Yeah.
That's a good boy.
You must watch us on streaming and on broadcast, Maximus, every day. Here's a look at our live camera. This one is from downtown Portland, our Rose City camera. Not a bad day coming up. Pretty similar to yesterday. Mostly cloudy out there this morning. And while there will be some sun breaks any given time, I think you'll look up and you'll go, well, it's mostly cloudy. 64 is the number out the door. We have an ongoing shower threat, although we don't expect much here in Portland or northward. The rain chances are much better near to especially south of Salem today. But with that said, keep an eye out. Maybe there's a shower. Later today, maybe there's a rumble of thunder. 69 at noon. And we'll get up to about 75 degrees. Not much wind, and it'll be on the sticky side once again. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's pick it back up in Tigard, or actually Beaverton, between Beaverton and Tigard. 217 southbound. Something is slow in the drive right now between Shoals Ferry and 99W. Our speed sensors indicate that's moving along at about 8 miles an hour. So a little slower than usual. Up to the Sylvan Hill, we've got a little bit of sun glare, right? The sun right in the driver's eye as folks come in from 217 up to Skyline Boulevard. And right now that's puttering along at about 11 miles an hour. Total trip in from Hillsborough now at last check averaging, this is an average, about 27 to 28 minutes from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. Our slowest freeway right there, I-5 through North Portland, the 3 lanes of parking lot, right? And that starts all the way back in Clark County, of course. We're looking at about 23 minutes to get you in from Main Street down to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. We're sharing newly released security video this morning that shows the confrontation that led to a stabbing outside the Central Library in downtown Portland last month.
The suspects in the video are set to be arraigned this morning. Alma McCarty walks us through the footage.
This latest chapter regarding this case began Monday morning with a back and forth between the Multnomah County Chair and the DA. She called for his office to release the footage, and he responded publicly as well, pointing out that she has the ability to share the video with the public. And Monday evening, she did. Monday evening, Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson released 2 video clips from August 25th, each showing a different angle outside the Central Library before an alleged stabbing landed 3 young adults behind bars.
This was an attack by 3 individuals on a complete stranger in the middle of the day in broad daylight in public.
Prosecutors and police reports from 2 weeks prior claimed the 44-year-old victim noticed a disturbance after leaving the library and tried to intervene, yelling across the street in an attempt to stop it. Officers say one suspect stabbed the victim multiple times and 2 others attacked him with skateboards. They were arrested near Holiday Park soon after. But Chair Vega Peterson and Commissioner Shannon Singleton have called out police and the district attorney, claiming the surveillance video doesn't match the narrative. What was released Monday night does appear to complicate that narrative from Portland police. However, it doesn't capture the entirety of the incident, and there's no audio, leaving many questions unanswered. It shows 4 young people hanging out in front of the library for about 10 minutes with no indication of a fight or nuisance to those walking by. 11 minutes in, something across the street catches their attention, and it appears they begin to shout in response to someone. A man in a light-colored hat moves across the street and confronts one young man. Guards walk over and look as though they're trying to de-escalate. The victim walks back across the street, and a short time later, the video shows the group also crossing the street. A streetcar then blocks the view, and when it leaves, the scene becomes visible. The victim with the skateboard followed by a group with at least one of the suspects. The confrontation continues, although the guards head back towards the library. About 2 minutes later, the victim, it appears, crosses the street, then sits down to make a call. Portland police then arrive on scene. In a statement, the Multnomah County DA wrote, in part, "It is not the role of the district attorney's office to try criminal cases via press releases, headlines, or social media commentary. It is our responsibility to present evidence in a court of law where justice can be administered fairly and in a manner that protects the rights of the victim and the accused." He said the grand jury returned an indictment for the defendants after seeing all video footage. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Meanwhile, a memorial is growing outside a southeast Portland home where police say 3 people died over the weekend in a double murder-suicide. Police responded Saturday evening to a suicide report in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood. When they got to the home, they found 3 people dead with apparent gunshot wounds. Detectives believe a 22-year-old man killed his 46-year-old mother and his 10-year-old sister before he shot himself. We spoke to people who live in that neighborhood.
No matter what their story, they were violently killed. And I mean, when you see it in your neighborhood, I know people say this all the time and it's really hokey, it just hits home going by the house and seeing it and just knowing that not too long ago they were a functioning, happy family.
We also want to remind you this morning that if you or someone you know is struggling, help is available 24/7. You can call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. They provide confidential support and resources.
We should have reached out for medical care when Hayden went into distress. We do understand that medical intervention can be necessary to preserve and enhance life.
A couple has pleaded guilty to criminal mistreatment as part of a plea deal in Clackamas County after their 2-day-old son died after they failed to seek medical care for their newborn, citing religious beliefs. So back in June of 2023, the newborn named Hayden became seriously ill, but the couple didn't get him medical treatment. The two are members of Followers of Christ Church, which is a small Christian denomination that believes in faith healing over modern medicine. In court yesterday, they read a statement saying that they have learned from the loss. The plea deal requires that they get medical care as needed for their 4 remaining children. They're also serving 30 days in jail and on supervised probation for 3 years. Investigators in Washington believe a 13-year-old was going to use all of these guns found in his parents' bedroom to attack a school.
The local sheriff's office received tips about the boy, leading investigators to check out his social media accounts. Christian Balderas with our sister station in Seattle has more on what they found.
At this point, investigators do not know what school, place, or person that this 13-year-old wanted to attack. He hasn't even attended a school in 4 years. Today, a judge has ordered that he be held in secure detention.
It was just a matter of time before something really bad happened.
Early Saturday morning in this quiet Tacoma suburb, sheriff deputies and SWAT served a search warrant and seized these guns. Investigators say many of these firearms do not have serial numbers.
A variety of the firearms were unsecured just throughout the home, mounted on the walls or just unsecured around the home.
The discovery was made after multiple people sent tips to the sheriff's department, which led investigators to the boy's social media. There, investigators say there were photos of him posing with firearms and making threats. One photo was captioned, "You'd never expect it." They also say they found evidence in his room that indicate he had ideations of a mass shooting.
There was an obsession with school shootings in terms of the markings that were on the walls and the photos that were hung up and the inscriptions that were found inside that room.
The boy is now facing 3 charges: attempted threat to bomb or injure a school, unlawful possession of a firearm in the 2nd degree, and unlawful possession of fireworks. So far, his parents have not been charged. And the sheriff's department said that this teen attended Franklin Pierce School District in 2021. We reached out to them for comment. They said that they are not aware of any threats to any of their schools.
Classes are canceled again today in the Evergreen School District after negotiations between it and the union representing classified workers fell through once again. And now the district is threatening legal action if a deal isn't reached soon. So the district may ask a judge to compel the union to end its strike, which they say is illegal under Washington state law. The school board says litigation is a last resort. And the district tells us that bargaining teams met yesterday and will meet again this morning starting at 9.
Parts of Cape Disappointment State Park on the very southern tip of the Washington coast are shutting down for some major renovations. So starting next Tuesday, campground loops A, B, and C will close along with Waikiki Beach, and then later this month, the North Jetty. The renovations include upgrades to roads and trails, a new welcome center, and improvements to habitat and wildlife areas. This project is expected to continue through next spring.
Time now is 7:39. Rod Hill looking at the weather for us.
Hi, good morning. We have a nice quiet start to our day. We're mostly cloudy. There are areas of rain across Oregon and Washington, but we're dry in Lincoln City. Here's the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, 55 degrees, kind of a similar sky condition here in the valley. Some breaks you can see right there. That's down in Oregon City from the end of the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center's camera and their grass amphitheater there. Temperatures with really no wind again are generally in the low 60s, 61 for you in Beaverton this morning. Kaiser, McMinnville the same, Salem and Albany each coming in at 62 degrees. So there is a rain chance today, and the chance of rain gets better and better as you drop south of Salem. By the time you get to Eugene, it's likely rain at times. Salem 73, Corvallis 72. There is at least a chance of a thunderstorm. This is all being driven by an upper level low that's sitting basically right on top of Medford this morning. So as you go north of Salem, up into Portland and then crossing the Columbia, the rain chances get less and less, meaning most of the time you folks in Battleground are out and about, you'll simply find dry weather. But keep in mind, there could be some thunderstorms migrate up the Cascade Range and maybe spill into Clark County later today or this evening. So just kind of keep an eye to what's going on. Battleground 76 today. Here's the big weather map. It's mostly 70s inland and 60s at the coast. Again, this is likely rain, Eugene, North Bend, down to Medford. And then later in the day, storms will pop up into central and eastern areas of our state. 7-day forecast. So the shower threat today, and mainly a shower threat Sunday, neither one is a guarantee of rain. So this is a pretty quiet 7-day with highs mostly in the 70s. I do have a mostly sunny 80-degree Saturday upcoming. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads over on the west side. Highway 26, slow and steady near Murray. We're moving along at about 25 miles an hour there. I-5 south of town. This is in Tualatin near the 205 interchange. So it's probably not hard to guess where the northbound commute is, right? On the right-hand side of your screen, that's slow and go there. And the I-5 South Drive out of Clark County, of course, that is slow and steady from SR 500. Right now, 30 minutes get you in from Hillsborough on Highway 26 and the I-5 Drive from Clark County. Again, that's about 25 minutes now in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Heads up in Skamania County starting this morning and actually throughout the week, through Thursday anyway. WSDOT is doing some hazardous tree removal. You may remember the Burdoin fire that burned east of the White Salmon area over the summer. There's going to be about a 5-6 mile section where they're flagging traffic on SR 14 through one lane as they work to remove some of those trees that were burned during that fire. Give them some space and plan some extra time if that's part of your travel today through Thursday. True?
Chris, I think you'll find this story interesting. Not everyone wearing the visitors' colors are who they appear to be. Seahawks fans are going to have to keep that in mind this season. Coming up in 2 minutes, we'll explain all this, how security at Lumen Field is taking a new approach to fan safety.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, take a listen to this. Security for Seahawks home games is taking on a new look this year. That's because police officers, that's right, police officers are going undercover by wearing the opposing team's jerseys. The Seahawks say this is a proactive approach to cutting down on violence at games. Reporter Jim Nelson has more.
Cops in rival colors. That's right, plainclothes police officers will be wearing the opposing team's jerseys this year. The Seahawks say it's part of their plan to be proactive and to intervene when any issues come up.
Game day in Seattle. No shortage of police around Lumen Field. These cops are keeping a watchful eye on everything. The officers stick out from the usual cast of characters, the Seahawks fans and the 49ers fans. Sure are a lot of those iconic scarlet-red jerseys, but as it turns out, some of them aren't who you might think they are. This year, the Seahawks are putting cops undercover in the opposing team's jersey. The team says to quickly detect bad behavior.
Everything is safe. I don't think we don't need that, to be honest with you.
I think it's good, it's for safety,
These guys are split on it, but King 5 law enforcement analyst, former King County Sheriff John Urquhart, believes it's a good idea.
That makes sense, especially if you're going to get harassed or you get some drunk coming up to you or whatever it is. So it makes good sense.
Makes you wonder. Any one of these men or women could be a cop. Any single one of them. Well, maybe not any one of them, but you get the idea.
I gotta ask, you got the Niners jersey. Are you a cop?
I am not.
I don't know.
I'm a Niner fan, a really Niner fan.
I cannot trust him, to be honest.
Certainly plenty to keep in mind throughout the season.
Again, that was Jim Nelson reporting in Seattle. Apparently, this is going to happen at every single Seahawks home game this season. They say they're trying to crack down on people being too drunk, people yelling obscenities during the games, and quite simply, people behaving badly. Thoughts?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I've been to a professional sporting event with my daughter when she was younger and just appalled at the language being thrown around by the people that were sitting, within proximity to us. And you're thinking, I shouldn't have to have my daughter hearing that simply because we're going to a professional sporting event.
No, it gets out of hand. I can tell you real quickly, there was one time I went to an Eagles game with a buddy of mine, and we're sitting there before the game starts. We're sitting there enjoying a little food. I mean, we're 30 minutes before the game begins. There's an escalator that goes down from the section we were sitting at to the lower level. A Redskins fan, it was the Redskins at the time, now the Commanders.
Yeah.
He's going down the escalator in his Redskins jersey, and this Eagles fan comes blasting over our table to get with him as close as he could, and he yells the biggest F-U I've ever heard in my life at this guy. Ah! Ah! And then he just gets off the table and laughs as he walks away. That's just considered normal, I guess, at the games.
You're a grown man.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and I always made sure that, the guy that I dated, and I'm married now, if we went to a sporting games and he's the one that stood up and screamed, not for me.
Yeah. It's definitely dangerous to wear the other team's colors, no doubt about it.
Now, John, did you like dating the guys that shaved their chest and had all the war paint on? Did you like that?
That would be a no for me.
Okay.
My type.
Your type.
My type.
Let's get you out the door. Here's our radar this morning, pointing out a couple things. Number one, this is the rain zone today, meaning it could be raining absolutely more than it's not. This is from near Eugene down through Roseburg and continuing south to Medford. Now, you see the lightning up around Yakima. Later today, there will be more thunderstorm activity move south to north along the Cascades, central and eastern areas. There's been some lightning out around Pilton this morning as well. So that's where most of the action is going to be. Now, radar is picking up some little traceable amounts of rain around Tualatin and perhaps down into the Donald area this morning. But overall, here in Portland, we're going to see a lot of dry time. You just might find a shower. You might hear some rumbles of thunder a little bit later on. Here the clouds kind of hunkering down right over the summit area there and around. This is our Timberline live camera. 51 degrees. Could be some storms up around Mount Hood later today. Oregon Zoo camera. This looks pretty overcast right now up in the West Hills. 62 degrees. Again, if you're going to be out doing something like enjoying several hours at the zoo today, you might choose to have a light rain jacket with you because you could get caught in a shower, but odds are also good that you won't, that the showers will stay away from wherever you are. Here are the current numbers. 61 down in Eugene where there's rain in the area right now. 64 in the Dalles where you could have a thunderstorm later today. 50 out in Baker City where there has been some light rain showers around this morning. Here's Futurecast, 7 o'clock this morning. Shows a surge of moisture coming up out of the south, and then there's Eugene kind of in that rain zone. This is at noon today. Notice the rest of us, Salem, Portland, Longview, Tillamook, mainly dry. Then we get into the afternoon. Here's 5 o'clock. Here we go. Here's thunderstorms, the bright colors making their way south and north up the Cascades. Could be, well, there's a potential thunderstorm out around La Grande as well. And again, it's the South Valley down into Medford where the rain just kind of keeps going and going. 8 o'clock, this shows a shower kind of bending towards Salem. Could be a rumble of thunder. But notice this is tomorrow morning. Never really did anything in Portland, kind of left us alone. So we'll see. At the coast, same thing as the valley. The rain chances are better and better as you drop southward. By the time you get down to Florence, for example, it's a pretty good chance of rain. For the gorge, we're quiet this morning, but later today we do expect some showers and thunderstorms along the Cascades. Some of that action could cross the Columbia River in the gorge itself, so keep an eye. Portland, again, lots of dry time with the shower threat. And really the 7-day is mainly dry with temperatures in the 70s this upcoming week. I do have a shower chance I'm watching on Sunday, but nothing, it just looks overly promising, Chris, in terms of a good soak if that's what you want. I wouldn't mind getting one at my house. Probably not going to get it.
I'll bring you the squirt gun here.
Thank you.
Kids can take turns on you. All right, let's go ahead and pick it up in the Northwest Industrial District. ODOT reporting a crash now on westbound Highway 30 near Kittredge, the westbound right lane blocked. It doesn't look like that's causing any significant delays at this point, but we'll keep you posted. This one is out in Washington County. It appears we've got a crash now at the busy intersection of Murray Boulevard and Shoals Ferry. You can see all the color through the intersection there indicating slowing both directions. So again, plan a few extra minutes to get around that for sure. The freeway cameras look like this. I-5 up in Clark County. It's moving a little bit better at SR 500, but then you hit the wall of traffic over there. That's the left-hand camera there at the Expo Center, so that's pretty heavy. And of course, our trip in from Hillsborough, one of our slower freeways as well, Highway 26, averaging about 27 minutes. China?
Thank you, Chris. Still to come on Sunrise, the University of Oregon cutting 176 positions as it works to close $30 million budget gap. Which positions are being eliminated when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Here's a look at some world and national headlines with your morning rush. Israel's army has ordered a mass evacuation of Gaza City. This move comes after warnings of heavier attacks if Hamas does not free the remaining hostages. The order has caused panic and confusion in Gaza City, which is home to about 1 million people, many saying that there's nowhere in Gaza where they feel safe. 6 people died, another 12 were injured when Palestinian attackers opened fire at this bus stop in Jerusalem. Israeli officials say an Israeli soldier and civilians shot and killed 2 of those attackers. Meanwhile, a 3rd suspect was arrested. Jury selection is underway in Florida for the man who's accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump last year. Ryan Ruth is defending himself and the judge. The judge has already criticized, I should say, the questions that he's asked the jury, calling them too political and irrelevant. One of his questions asked about the war in Gaza. He even asked another question about whether or not jurors would stop to help a turtle in the road. Jury selection expected to wrap up midweek. Opening statements are Thursday. And this next piece of video shows San Diego. A brush fire there that destroyed 6 structures. Crews eventually contained the fire, which only spread to 5 acres, but one person was treated for burns while another was treated for smoke inhalation. And that's a look at your morning rush.
The University of Oregon is cutting 176 administration and faculty positions to help close a projected $25 to $30 million budget gap. Now, of those 176 positions, 59 are vacant. Most of the savings are coming from personnel reductions, with the rest coming from other expenses. The university did not cut any degree programs. In a statement, the university said, quote, layoffs are a painful but necessary step taken in consultation with leaders across the university. In making these decisions, we have prioritized the university's academic mission and student success. Coming up at 8, newly released security video shows the confrontation that led to a stabbing outside the Sonoma County Central Library and made public after debate among county officials. And we're also covering a shooting last night in Wood Village that sent one person to the hospital. We'll have the latest on their condition and what led up to the shooting coming up in a live report.